When a former All Black speaks, the rugby world listens, but sometimes what they say cuts deep. Stephen Donald didn't hold back and threw fuel on the fire. The United Rugby Championship is very, very low level compared to Super Rugby Pacific. What he didn't expect, the backlash, and it came hard. Jake White, John Plumtree, and even John Dobson weren't having it. Now the battle lines are drawn. Who plays real rugby? Is the URC really just a low-level league? Let's expose the whole mess right now. Stephen Donald, famous for winning the 2011 World Cup with a kick and for always speaking his mind, unleashed. The URC competition is probably a very, very low level compared to Super Rugby. The Champions Cup stuff certainly would be, Donald told The Breakdown. Former Crusaders and Hurricanes, lock Joe Wheeler agreed with Donald. The URC might not be as good as Super Rugby, he said. It's not going to harden him for Test rugby, but this guy is world class, there's no question about it. He is in your squad, you're picking him every day of the week, and I don't think you start him. He even claimed that playing in the URC doesn't prepare anyone for All Blacks level. For him, only Super Rugby and Champions Cup are worth mentioning. The rest is just a warm-up. And of course, that didn't sit well with those living the URC reality. John Dobson, never shy, didn't hold back. Leinster and the Bulls would beat any Super Rugby team today. The URC is closer to international rugby than Super Rugby Pacific. Meanwhile, Jake White, aiming for diplomacy, brought a broader view, but with a clear message between the lines. Super Rugby has changed so many times, he told the media. It used to be Super 8, then Super 10, 12, 14, then it went into conference systems, and now it is Super Rugby without South African sides. So, it depends on what Super Rugby you are talking about. It is not a case of which one is stronger or weaker. He added, the Crusaders and Blues in the early 90s were as strong as any international side. But Leinster, with a fully fledged international team, is as difficult as playing one of those Super Rugby sides in those days. It would be wrong of me to say he is right or wrong, as Super Rugby has changed so significantly in the last 15 or 20 years. It's not what it used to be. New Zealander John Plumtree, with experience in both tournaments, completely dismissed Donald's comment. Who said that? Honestly, not something that interests me. There are Springboks in the URC, in Japan too. Doesn't mean one league is definitely better. But he didn't stop there. He also undermined Super Rugby in his own way. Super Rugby is a sprint. The URC is a marathon with more challenges and international windows that make it tougher. While Franco Smith tried to stay neutral, saying only those who have played in both can really compare, the truth runs deeper. This is about respect. Stephen Donald seems to forget that the URC is packed with world champion Springboks, players who have dominated the All Blacks and Wallabies in recent years. If the URC is low level, then what does that say about those losing to them? Is Stephen Donald right and the URC just a luxury training ground? Or is this just bitter talk from someone who can't stand to see Northern Hemisphere rugby taking over? Drop your thoughts below. Who plays real rugby? The URC or Super Rugby? And don't forget to subscribe, because the controversy never stops here.